well of Nintendo, yeah. Maybe summer. I'm very tempted because looking into it, it looked really fun. Bye, Dan. But let's try this. This is loud. This loud for you guys? That's a bit loud for you guys. So this is an H.P. Lovecraft game. It was actually recommended last year by Kira Whitewind, who's often in my chat, who's also a Final Fantasy 14 FC member. So there's DLC. It's twice the price on Nintendo. Fucking Nintendo. Okay, Dagon is a faithful interactive adaptation of H.P. Lovecraft's work, focused on story and atmosphere. You will not find difficult choices, action sequence, or inventory management here. The movement is limited to progressing through locations along with the plot. So we're in for a spooky story.
I am writing this under an appreciable mental strain, since by tonight I shall be no more.
Oh. Okay. Wonder if it's on Game Pass. I should also see if it's on GOG. Do it. Oh. During the game, you will encounter interactive elements. Some of them will allow you to continue on your journey. Others reveal interesting facts about your original short story, the historical background, and the author. Wait. Some of the trivia is hidden. In order to find these secrets, focus your eyes. Use your special eyes. My special eyes. And look for the elder signs. Okay, it's holding right click. You know what? I forgot to go look at that. I'm gonna go quickly look at that. Because we're easily distracted today with Summer's thing. Oh my fucking god. The guy's face. Alright. Oh god. God, we're already an hour into the stream. Okay, we gotta look with our special eyes. Oh, I can't move around. Okay, special eyes. Find the first piece of trivia. So find it definitely people expire during the interrogation. So I know about Lovecraft, but I've never read any of Lovecraft's stories. As a letterer, my case is peculiar. I write such things exactly and easily and as rapidly as I would utter the same topic in conversation. Indeed, epistolary expression is with me largely replacing conversation, as my condition of nervous procrastination becomes more and more acute. I cannot bear to talk much now, and am becoming as silent as the spectator himself. My loquacy extends itself on paper. H.P. Lovecraft to Reinhard Klein, December 23rd, 1917. Fucking fancy ass way saying you're having a nervous breakdown. Throughout his life, Lovecraft penned around 100,000 letters to his friends and fans, out of which about 10% survive to this day. But his tendency to endless correspondence was a relatively late growth. In youth, I scarcely did any letter writing, thanking anybody for a a present was so much of an ordeal that I would rather have written a 250-line pastoral or a 20-page on a Ring of Saturn. Okay. Lovecraft would often skip meals to afford postage. Damn. Collections of his correspondence have been published in various books, and select letters can be found online. Some readers consider them his most important legacy. You can read and discover trivia immediately, or go back to them later. We'll probably go back to them later. I don't really care. Look with your special eyes. Okay, there's a window. Oh, I can't look behind me.
Penniless, and at the end of my supply of the drug which alone makes life endurable, I can bear the torture no longer, and shall cast myself from this garret window into the squalid street below.
My weed! I once tried to listen to an audiobook of H.P. Lovecraft, but there are no good audiobooks, or at least I couldn't find one.
Do not think from my slavery to morphine that I am a weakling or a degenerate.
I feel like if I listened to an audiobook of H.P. Lovecraft, it would become background noises. Because he has such fancy way of speaking. And I'm just like, yeah. You just said, you know, the simple thing.
When you have read these hastily scrawled pages, you may guess, though never fully realize, why it is that I must have forgetfulness or death.
His cat had such a peculiar name that Twitch would ban me if I wrote it. My god. Anything with my special eyes? Oh. Morphine. Cool.
It was in one of the most open and least frequented parts of the broad Pacific that the packet of which I was supercargo fell a victim to the German sea raider.
Anything with my special eyes? Lovecraft in the Great War. I'm not gonna actually read the trivia things, because I'm sorry, I don't actually care about Lovecraft himself. Like, he created a lot of great things, but he was apparently not that great of a guy.
The Great War was then at its very beginning, and the ocean forces of the Hun had not completely sunk to their later degradation.
I'm just here for the cool monsters.
So that our vessel was made a legitimate prize, whilst we of her crew were treated with all the fairness and consideration due us as naval prisoners.
What flag is that? I just heard the word great followed by cannon firing. The Huns. The Huns were Central Asian nomads. Oh! They were known as brutally deadly warriors and master of quick raids, who also developed powerful composite bows, lassos, and early siege weapons. Cool. Okay, that gets me forward. Anything else with my special eyes?
So liberal, indeed, was the discipline of our captors, that 5 days after we were taken, I managed to escape alone, in a small boat, with water and provisions for a good length of time.
Okay, so we escaped. That's continuing. Where's my lore? Is there any lore? Does not look like there's any lore here. That's okay.
When I finally found myself adrift and free, I had but little idea of my surroundings. Never a competent navigator, I could only guess vaguely by the sun and stars that I was somewhat south of the equator.
I have no idea how to navigate anything. Ivan!
Of the longitude, I knew nothing, and no island or coastline was in sight.
Anything with my specialized? That's how I go forward. Okay, nothing with my specialized. I'm doing good. Sad that I couldn't play the original game I planned today, but that is unfortunately life. And now we're playing this game that is apparently really short.
The weather kept fair, and for uncounted days I drifted aimlessly beneath the scorching sun, waiting either for some passing ship or to be cast on the shores of some habitable land.
So you can buy all 3 Yomawari games for $40 on the Switch, or the first one for $40? The hell? What the fuck? Also, there's 3 of them? Okay, that's continuing. Is there any lore? Wait, I saw the lore for a second. July 1917. Okay, cool.
But neither ship nor land appeared, and I began to despair in my solitude upon the heaving vastness of unbroken blue.
So we escaped, and
the
now...
change happened whilst I slept.
Oh shit.
Its details I shall never know. For my slumber, though troubled and dream-infested, was continuous.
Yeah. Okay, calm down, dude. That continues. Is there any lore? Any wiggly lore? That.
When at last I awoke, it was to discover myself half sucked into a slimy expanse of hellish black mire, which extended about me in monotonous undulations as far as I could see.
I guess it's time for sashimi again, right? Ah, don't worry about it, Summer.
And in which my boat lay grounded some distance away.
I just really appreciate you thought of me and the game and stuff. I'm just sad that it's not working from Steam and Nintendo's money-grubbing losers.
Though one might well imagine that my first sensation would be of wonder at so prodigious and unexpected a transformation of scenery, I was in reality more horrified than astonished. For there was in the air and in the rotting soil a sinister quality which chilled me to the very core. The region was putrid with the carcasses of decaying fish and of other, less describable things which I saw protruding from the nasty mud of the unending plain. Perhaps I should not hope to convey in mere words the unutterable hideousness that can dwell in absolute silence and barren immensity. There was nothing within hearing and nothing in sight save a vast reach of black slime. Yet the very completeness of the stillness and the homogeneity of the landscape oppressed me with a nauseating fear.
Ooh.
The sun was blazing down from a sky which seemed to me almost black in its cloudless cruelty, as though reflecting the inky marsh beneath my feet.
I gotta say, the voiceover person sounds very nice. Also, ads are about to start. I'm just gonna continue with this. Dagon seems to be inspired by Fishhead, short novel by Irvine S. Cobb about unnatural affinities between a hybrid idiot and a strange fish of an isolated lake. supernatural horror in literature, H.P. Lovecraft, and Lovecraft's dream about a strange island emerging from the ocean and him crawling in the ooze that covered its surface. I dreamed that whole hideous crawl and can yet feel the ooze sucking me down. Lovecraft's interest in the topic stemmed from his aversion to fish and sea smells, in his own words. Yeah, I do and I don't like fish. How do I continue? Ooh.
As I crawled into the stranded boat, I realized that only one theory could explain my position.
Okay.
Through some unprecedented volcanic upheaval, a portion of the ocean floor must have been thrown to the surface, exposing regions for which innumerable millions of years had lain hidden under unfathomable watery depths.
That would be crazy if that actually happened.
So great was the extent of the new land which had risen beneath me that I could not detect the faintest noise of the surging ocean, straining my ears as I might. Nor were there any seafowl to prey upon the dead things.
Okay, that continues. Oh.
For several hours I sat thinking or brooding in the boat, which lay upon its side and afforded a slight shade as the sun moved across the heavens.
Yeah, this is not the ASMR I like either. I do not like wet sounds.
As the day progressed, the ground lost some of its stickiness and seemed likely to dry sufficiently for traveling purposes in a short time.
You got some ancient beasts here.
That night I slept but little, and the next day I made for myself a pack containing food and water, preparatory to an overland journey in search of the vanished sea and possible rescue.
Okay, that continues, but do I see anything with my special eyes? No.
On the third morning, I found the soil dry enough to walk upon with ease. The odor of the fish was maddening, but I was too much concerned with graver things to mind so slight an evil, and set out boldly for an unknown goal.
So, I've talked about going to this local river when there's salmon spawns, and they would take us when we were younger, and we would always end up going when they started dying. And the smell is horrific.
All day I forged steadily westward, guided by a faraway hummock which rose higher than any other elevation on the rolling desert.
Cool, we got some horrifying things. That's how I go forward. Oh, is that a blue whale? Oh, that's sad. And some giant crab. Hi. Doesn't seem to be anything. No, nothing with the sun.
That night, I encamped, and on the following day still travelled toward the hummock, though that object seemed scarcely nearer than when I had first espied it.
I love how these creatures, these ocean creatures, are getting progressively bigger. Oh, there's something. We're not fully reading those. We're lazy. Oh?
By the fourth evening, I attained the base of the mound, which
Yay.
turned out to be much higher than it had appeared from a distance.
Well, no shit, Sherlock.
An intervening valley setting it out in sharper relief from the general surface. Too weary to ascend, I slept in the shadow of the hill. I know not why my dreams were so wild that night.
Because you're in hell?
But ere the waning and fantastically gibbous moon had risen far above the eastern plain, I was awake in a cold perspiration, determined to sleep no more. Such visions as I had experienced were too much for me to endure again. And in the glow of the moon I saw how unwise I had been to travel by day.
Why?
Without the glare of the parching sun, my journey would have cost me less energy.
Oh, that's true. But you can't see.
Indeed, I now felt quite able to perform the ascent which had deterred me at sunset. Picking up my pack, I started for the crest of the eminence. I have said that the unbroken monotony of the rolling plain was a source of vague horror to me. But I think my horror was greater when I gained the summit of the mound and looked down the other side into an immeasurable pit or canyon, whose black recesses the moon had not yet soared high enough to illumine. I felt myself on the edge of the world, peering over the rim into a fathomless chaos of eternal night.
Oh, well shit.
Through my terror ran curious reminiscences of Paradise Lost and of Satan's hideous climb through the unfashioned realms of darkness. As the moon climbed higher in the sky, I began to see that the slopes of the valley were not quite so perpendicular as I had imagined.
Are we gonna jump? Jump! Sorry, I'm sorry, H.P. Lovecraft. I'm not taking this seriously.
Ledges and outcroppings of rock afforded fairly easy footholds for a descent.
Oh, there's a light down there.
Whilst after a drop of only a few hundred feet, the declivity became very gradual.
Okay, so we're gonna climb down. Anything with my special eyes? This is how people who work in customer service feel? Yeah.
Which I cannot definitely analyze. I scrambled with difficulty down the rocks and stood on the gentler slope beneath, gazing into the Stygian deeps, where no light had yet penetrated. All at once, my attention was captured by a vast and singular object on the opposite slope, which rose steeply about 100 yards ahead of me.
It's a cube!
An object that gleamed whitely in the newly bestowed rays of the ascending moon.
Okay, that's our way forward. Any lore?
That it was merely a gigantic piece of stone, I soon assured myself.
Okay.
But I was conscious of a distinct impression that its contour and position were not altogether the work of nature.
Nope.
A closer scrutiny filled me with sensations I cannot express. For despite its enormous magnitude, and its position in an abyss which had yawned at the bottom of the sea since the world was young, I perceived beyond a doubt that the strange object was a well-shaped monolith.
Monolith! That's a fun word.
Whose massive bulk had known the workmanship and perhaps the worship of living and thinking creatures. Dazed and frightened, yet not without a certain thrill of the scientist's or archaeologist's delight, I examined my surroundings more closely.
Oh. Examine? It's just dark. Darkness. Ugh. Oh.
The moon, now near the zenith, shone weirdly and vividly above the towering steeps that hemmed in the chasm, and revealed the fact that a far-flung body of water flowed at the bottom, winding out of sight in both directions and almost lapping my feet as I stood on the slope. Across the chasm, the wavelets washed the base of the cyclopean monolith, on whose surface I could now trace both inscriptions and crude sculptures.
Those look really rad, though. Like, there's land, and I'm guessing the creepy sea stuff, and then, yeah. Anything? Any lore? No.
The writing was in a system of hieroglyphics unknown to me and unlike anything I'd ever seen in books. Consisting for the most part of conventionalized aquatic symbols such as fishes, eels, octopi, crustaceans, mollusks, whales, and the like.
Is this where Cthulhu is introduced?
Several characters obviously represented marine things which are unknown to the modern world, but whose decomposing forms I had observed on the ocean-risen plain.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of these.
It was the pictorial carving, however, that did most to hold me spellbound.
You mean the one up there? That one? Find half of the trivia pieces hidden in the game. That's the achievement we got. Cool. Oh yeah, wait, it did say something about Cthulhu.
Plainly visible across the intervening water on account of their enormous size were an array of bas-reliefs whose subjects would have excited the envy of a doré.
Ow.
I think that these things were supposed to depict men, at least a certain sort of men.
Oh, down there.
Though the creatures were shown disporting like fishes in the waters of some marine grotto.
I like when stories depict mermaids more in a horror sense rather than like Little Mermaid style.
Or paying homage at some monolithic shrine which appeared to be under the waves as well. Of their faces and forms I dare not speak in detail, for the mere remembrance makes me grow faint. Grotesque beyond the imagination of a Poe or a Bulwer.
Like, especially if it's a deep water, kind of like Mermaid. Because deep water creatures are fucking creepy as hell.
They were damnably human in general outline, despite webbed hands and feet, shockingly wide and flabby lips, glassy, bulging eyes, and other features less pleasant to recall. Curiously enough, they seem to have been chiseled badly out of proportion with their scenic background. For one of the creatures was shown in the act of killing a whale, represented as but little larger than himself.
Nom nom.
I remarked, as I say, their grotesqueness and strange size, but in a moment decided that they were merely the imaginary gods of some primitive fishing or seafaring tribe. Some tribe whose last descendant had perished eras before the first ancestor of the Piltdown or Neanderthal man was born.
Don't know about that man.
Or awestruck at this unexpected glimpse into a past beyond the conception of the most daring anthropologist. I stood musing whilst the moon cast queer reflections on the silent channel before me.
The queer reflections!
Then, suddenly, I saw it.
Oh, what?
With only a slight churning to mark its rise to the surface, the thing slid into view above the dark waters. Fiend-like and loathsome, it darted like a stupendous monster of nightmares to the monolith, about which it flung its gigantic scaly arms, the while it bowed its hideous head and gave vent to certain measured sounds.
Oh, and we fainted.
I think I went mad then.
Oh no, we went crazy.
Of my frantic ascent of the slope and cliff, and of my delirious journey back to the stranded boat, I remember little.
Is there any lore? Just a second. I know we're insane right now, but we have to look at lore.
I believe I sang a great deal and laughed oddly when I was unable to sing.
Cool, we're going insane. I love that for us. Any lore? Oh. Thought I saw something for a quick second. No, that's just us going crazy.
I have indistinct recollections of a great storm sometime after I reached the boat.
They do say if you see Cthulhu, you will go fucking mad.
At any rate, I know that I heard pearls of thunder and other tones which nature utters only in her wildest moods.
Although I don't think that was Cthulhu.
When I came out of the shadows, I was in a San Francisco hospital.
Oh shit, cool.
Brought thither by the captain of the American ship which had picked up my boat in mid-ocean. In my delirium, I had said much, but found that my words had been given scant attention. Of any land upheaval in the Pacific, my rescuers knew nothing. Nor did I deem it necessary to insist upon a thing which I knew they could not believe.
Yeah, I bet. Oh, look, American hospital where it's falling apart. Jesus. Cool. We found 2 pieces of lore. Bam.
Once I sought out a celebrated ethnologist and amused him with peculiar questions regarding the ancient Philistine legend of Dagon, the fish god.
Oh. Dagon was the main deity of the Philistines, worshipped throughout the Middle East as the ancient god of fertility and crops. In Hebrew, the word Dagon was a common noun for grain. Ooh. The ruler of Akkad, Mesopotamia, Jesus, chose him as the patron saint of the war conquest. He also appears as the judge of the dead in the Syrian poem and an underworld prison warden in one of the Babylonian texts. He's often mistakenly taken for a fish god due to the wrong interpretation of his name, as in Hebrew the word dag means fish. In H.P. Lovecraft work, Dagon is an underwater deity ruling over the deep ones. A humanoid race with a fish trait resides in the ocean. He is worshipped by a secret cult called the Esoteric Order of Dagon. Maybe the Dagons are the friends we made along the way, right? feel like there's gonna be a bunch of lore here. That's interesting. I didn't know Dagon was actually like a real life, that's my continuation. Deity. Thought it was just another one of H.P. Lovecraft's created things. Okay, I don't see any more lore.
But soon perceiving that he was hopelessly conventional, I did not press my inquiries.
Why does he have the Necronomicon? Ba-ba. Oh. Anything else I can see with my special eyes? Oh, we came over here. Oh, there's something. These days, the word scientist widely accepted term, but at the time Dagon was published, it was subject to wide debate. Huh. Okay, cool. We just wandered around the room. Cool. What up?
It is at night, especially when the moon is gibbous and waning, that I see the thing.
You've used that word several times. What does gibbous mean? I am Googling that. How do you spell it? Gibbous. Okay, that's how I thought. Gibbous. Having the observational illuminated part greater than the semicircle and less than the circle. Oh. So like more of a full moon than a new moon. Okay. We learned a word.
I tried morphine, but the drug has given only transient surcease and has drawn me into its clutches as a hopeless slave. So now I am to end it all, having written a full account for the information or the contemptuous amusement of my fellow men.
Okay. Lovecraft on tobacco and alcohol. Lovecraft hated tobacco, okay? He also had a very strong opinion about alcohol. Okay, so he doesn't like either of those. That's fine. That's up to him. What are we
Often, I ask myself if it could not all have been a pure phantasm.
Okay.
A mere freak of fever as I lay sun-stricken and raving in the open boat after my escape from the German man-of-war. This I ask myself, but ever does there come before me a hideously vivid vision in reply. I cannot think of the deep sea without shuddering at the nameless things that may at this very moment be crawling and floundering on its slimy bed, worshipping their ancient stone idols and carving their own detestable likenesses on submarine obelisks of water-soaked granite. I dream of a day when they may rise above the billows to drag down into their reeking talons the remnants of puny, war-exhausted mankind. Of a day when the land shall sink and the dark ocean shall ascend amidst universal pandemonium.
Any lore? No, but it looks like the ocean is coming to attack America. I mean, mood.
The end is near.
Yep.
I hear a noise at the door, as of some immense slippery body lumbering against it.
Let him in. Any lore? Oh, there's lore. Yeah, I'll get the door in a second. I have to find the lore.
It shall not find me.
Yeah, it will. Look. What up?
God, that hand! The
What?
window! The window!
It just wants to give you a kiss. Oh. Oh, is there any lore? But is there any lore? Okay, well. Oh fuck, we would. Oh! Oh! That was crunchy. So that was Dagon. Oh, is it? I don't know why it's flashing like that. Oh shit.
And scary stories have been accompanying men for centuries. They have many faces and forms. But what is their purpose? Why do we enjoy being afraid so much?
Ah.
During our therapy, I'll try to...
Was that just a... Oh, okay, that wasn't a thing for, We missed two. I don't want to go back through it to find it. That's fine. I don't need it. I don't need to go back through it. That was Dagon. It was alright. I'm not an H.P. Lovecraft fan. Oh yeah, we're missing one achievement. That is fine. I don't care. Thank you to Kiro for suggesting this game. It was alright. Let me take that off before I forget. Once it finishes. What a lot of work for a 30-minute game. Yeah. And it seems like the same group does a bunch of other H.P. Lovecraft stories. Like, H.P. Lovecraft is interesting, but it's just not my vibe. Okay. A second. Can we full screen this? No, I can't. Okay. This is going to be in an odd window. Let's see how it's going to capture.